Hello and welcome to Street Light Cinema, a channel dedicated to the love and appreciation for all things film. My name is Blaine, and tonight's topic, it's a controversial one. It might get a little uncomfortable in here. Tonight we're talking about streaming and why it's so divisive. Why is this topic so controversial among film lovers? Is streaming killing cinema? Is it saving cinema? Well, we're not going to get too deep into the weeds tonight. We're just going to be able to scratch the surface in this video. This isn't an hour-long essay piece on why cinema is whatever. Tonight we're just talking about my opinions on streaming and a defense of streaming. Now hear me out before you go. Just listen to what I've got to say. I love going to the theater. I love collecting movies physically just as much as anyone. However, I do think streaming has its major benefits. I love streaming. Hear me out. Okay, I've got a few reasons why I think streaming is great and why I think it brings something to the table that no other form of film consumption can. So first and foremost, streaming, it's convenient, right? You don't have to go out to the movies. You don't have to go buy the physical version of a film. You can just sit at home, just rest, relax. You don't have to go talk to anybody. You don't have to communicate with anyone. You can just sit on your couch like a slob, the slob that you are. Let's face it. I am one, you're one. We're all in this together. You can just relax and watch whatever you want on that streaming site. It's convenient. Secondly, streaming is cheap. It's just one flat fee per month, of course, to watch whatever you want, whenever you want, assuming it is on the streaming service, as many times as you want. It's cheap. You don't want to buy every single movie that comes out. I mean, some of you may want to. Of course, I know sometimes I can fall into that trap. However, it's cheap, right? And thirdly, streaming is accessible. You've got so many films, so many TV shows right at your fingertips. One click of a button, and you can watch whatever you want, as long as it, of course, is on the streaming site. Thousands of on-demand media. It's accessible. So many options. The binge model, boy, let me tell you, it's been perfected. Right after you finish something else pops right on. It's brilliant or dangerous. But nonetheless, film consumption through streaming, it's simply accessible. More accessible than going out, getting ready, all of these different things that you would have to do to go to a theater, to buy a movie. It's super accessible. So those are the three main reasons why I think streaming is great. And now I kind of want to get into a few different traits and unique traits specifically on what streaming has to offer that no other medium can, okay? Firstly, it allows for distribution of indie films or just simply any movie, no matter the budget, that some of these companies do not want to distribute. Take, for example, The Irishman. Perfect example. Netflix picked it up. Brilliant. It's a good movie. And we would not have gotten that if it hadn't been for streaming. Now that's a controversial statement. May not be completely accurate, but this is where we are. We have it on the streaming site. And now, of course, the Criterion has put it out on physical media. Another unique trait is that streaming allows consumers to discover content that they would not necessarily discover otherwise, or content that they can rediscover on the streaming site. Say they watched this movie or this show when they were super young, and now, boom, it's back on one of the streaming services. Oh, I forgot all about this. This is amazing. I get to have that nostalgia. I get to relive why I love this over again. It's great. And along with that, you can find things you had never heard of. You did not know they existed, but you're just scrolling on the site, and you find something. Hey, let's just throw this on, and you love it. How great is that? It's like the old rental store, right? You're just perusing through the aisles, going through, just trying to discover something new, and boom, you find it, you rent it, you love it. Except this one, like I said, it's more convenient, cheaper, and more accessible than doing that. Of course, it might not be as fun. However, it does have its benefits. Now, streaming also, another unique trait, there's less risk for the consumer. Say you're scrolling and you find a movie that you may have never heard of, you put it on, and you don't like it. Oh, you can just turn it off. You don't have to get a refund, or you don't have to, be upset that you lost money on it because you're spending one-time payment for all of these things, or you can just turn something you don't like off. Not a big deal. No risk involved. Now, of course, some would say, we love the risk. The risk is the reason, we're doing this. I don't know, whatever. Adrenaline junkies, of course, you know who you are. You gotta love them. But there's no risk involved, or little risk, rather, involved with streaming. Another one, and probably the last thing I'll bring up tonight, is streaming exclusive content. Now, this is probably the most controversial or divisive aspect of streaming. And it's one thing I will say I don't love about streaming. It is nice, though, to be able to get onto a streaming service and find a film or a show that you love that you wouldn't be able to find if you hadn't been paying for that streaming service, right? It's controversial because I love to collect physical media, and I would love my physical media, or I would love streaming services to put out the movies I love because I want to collect it. But sometimes, of course, the big money engine, but you can only get certain shows and movies on certain streaming services, and you would not be able to get those otherwise. That is another reason why I think streaming is worth it. It's worth paying for. It's worth having. Now, is it killing cinema? I don't know. Is it saving cinema? Could be. There are really a lot of arguments for each of those statements. But I did just want to give a quick defense of streaming. I personally love it. I love all other ways to consume media as well. But tonight's video is kind of the beginning of a series of videos I'd like to do on streaming. Streaming in general. Streaming versus physical media. Streaming versus theaters. Things of that nature. So I hope you enjoyed this video of just scratching the surface. We'll hopefully have more videos to come on this topic of streaming as a whole. As I said, I love streaming. It's not my favorite way, but I do see its many benefits. So if you like this video, let me know, and thanks for sticking in. I know it's been a longer video, but I'm glad that you watched all the way to the end. I don't know how to end a video, so I'm just going to leave it at this. Always remember, when the street light comes on, come on home.